Pitch black. Nothing on screen. And then, a woman's voice ripping through the night. "Don't touch me! Save me! Save me!" Raw, desperate, the kind of scream that drops your stomach through the floor because you know nobody's coming. Hold that sound in your head. Now swipe. Blinding pink. Glitter filter. A girl grinning into her phone like she just unlocked the meaning of life. And she goes, quote, "One is based off of love, the other is based off of fear." She's converting. She thinks Jesus was Palestinian. She thinks she found paradise. Just look up what Muhammad did. This isn't quirky. This isn't some harmless spiritual phase your daughter's going through. This is a disease in the mind. And the algorithm spoon-feeding it to her right now? That's no accident. That's a machine. Engineered, precise, and running on something far darker than you think. So, how big is this thing? Let me hit you with the numbers. Since October 2023, right after the conflict erupted, TikTok's algorithm started carpet bombing Western feeds with romanticized Middle Eastern content. And the response? The hashtag #revert racked up 2.9 billion views. Billion. With a B. Your revert Muslim pulled 1.4 billion. Even Tubba white revert. Yeah, they literally made it a racial identity tag. Clocked 1.6 million views. Forget the idea of one strange girl on your For You page. You're staring at an industrial conveyor belt. And it moves fast. Thousands of Western women, mostly young, mostly left-leaning, mostly with zero background in Islamic theology, watching curated clips of Palestinian resilience, hearing phrases like ironclad faith, and within weeks, taking their shahada on camera. For an audience, let's talk about Megan Rice. She's the poster child for this entire circus. Megan was sitting at around 400,000 followers. Decent, respectable, but hardly household name territory. Then October 7th happens. She starts posting about Palestinian faith. Beautiful lighting, emotional music, tears on cue, and then the grand finale. She takes her shahada live on TikTok. 8,000 people watching in real time. The result? Her account didn't just grow. It detonated. 400K to over 900,000 followers. In weeks. According to reporting from the Free Press and Tablet magazine, this trajectory was directly tied to her public conversion content. Spiritual awakening? Please? That's a growth hack wearing a prayer rug. And the pattern is identical across hundreds of accounts. Post sympathetic content. Adopt the aesthetic. Say the words on camera. Watch the numbers climb. It's XP grinding, exactly like a video game. You know how you repeat the same mindless task, kill the same goblin, loot the same chest, just to watch that little experience bar tick up? Same mechanic, except the XP here is followers, likes, and the intoxicating rush of being seen as morally superior. The shahada becomes a loot box. Crack it open on camera, and your engagement stats go through the roof. No doctrinal study, no years of reflection, no sitting with a scholar debating centuries of theology. Just content. Packaged, optimized, algorithmically amplified content, dressed in the language of the sacred. So now you've got the machine, you've got the scale, you've got the incentive structure laid bare. But here's what really gets under my skin. These women, the ones farming clout off finding inner peace, they'll tell you wearing a hijab to the grocery store and catching a sideways glance was the hardest thing they've ever endured, their darkest hour, a dirty look at Woolies. Meanwhile, somewhere very far from the ring light, the price real women pay for actual dissent looks nothing like a sideways glance. So let me show you what this looks like up close. Another video, another convert. This one takes it further. She tells the camera she's experiencing adversity for the first time in her life because strangers glance at her headscarf. But she doesn't stop there. She actually says, straight to camera, dead serious, that she is saving the world and changing perspectives. Mate, she's pretending she's the new prophet. I'm watching this, and all I can see is a colourful version of that kid at school who desperately wanted the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. She found the accessory that makes her feel mythic, and now she's built an entire identity around other people's discomfort with it. Let's cut the crap for a second. This woman holds a passport from a free country. She's got a phone worth $1,000 in her hand. She has every legal right to take that hijab off tomorrow morning, and absolutely nothing happens. No one knocks on her door, no court summons, no acid, no stones. She cosplays as oppressed while sitting inside the most protected category on the planet, a Western woman exercising religious freedom in a secular democracy. She kept every safety net, the Medicare card, the DV hotline, the family court system. She just added a headscarf and called it a revolution. Now let me tell you about someone who actually paid the bill. Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Born in Somalia, raised inside the religion these TikTokers think is all about love and inner peace. She didn't just leave Islam, she left it loudly. Became a member of Dutch Parliament. And in 2004, she co-produced an 11-minute short film called Submission with a Dutch filmmaker named Theo van Gogh. The film projected verses from the Quran onto the bodies of abused women. 11 minutes. That's all it took. On the 2nd of November 2004, Theo van Gogh was cycling to work on a street in Amsterdam. A man shot him, slit his throat in broad daylight, and then, I need you to really hear this, took a knife and stabbed a 5-page letter directly into his chest. That letter was addressed to Ayaan Hirsi Ali. It told her she was next. That was over 20 years ago. She's still alive. But here's what still alive actually looks like when you leave this religion. Armed bodyguards, every single day, for more than 20 years. She doesn't walk to grab a coffee without security scanning the street. She doesn't pick her kids up from school without someone checking the perimeter first. Every knock on the door is a threat calculation. Every crowd is a risk map. Non-stop death threats since 2002. That is her daily life. Not a frown at Coles, not someone side-eyeing her outfit. Her entire existence became a permanent military operation. Because she dared to say, out loud, that this ideology hurts women. And our influencer? She's filming her next TikTok about how brave she is for wearing fabric on her head in a country where the worst thing anyone can legally do is look at her sideways. But you know what genuinely keeps me up? It's not the fatwas. It's not the parliaments or the geopolitics. It's something much closer. Because this thing, this algorithm-fed fantasy, it doesn't just live on your phone screen anymore. It's already crawled off the screen. And it's sitting at someone's dinner table right now. Maybe yours. Maybe this Sunday. And I found that dinner table, actually, it found me. Because a video landed in my inbox that made my blood run cold. Not from some war zone. Not from a parliament hearing. From a family living room somewhere in the West. A mum, her daughter, and the daughter's new Muslim husband. Sitting around a table with coffee mugs and leftover roast. And this mum, God bless her, she came prepared. She'd printed out the texts, actual pages, highlighted, underlined, the whole deal, like she'd been auditing a contract before signing, because that's exactly what this was. Her daughter had signed her life into a system, and Mum wanted to read the fine print out loud, right there, in front of the bloke who sold it to her, and she starts reading, word for word from her printout. Treat women kindly, for they are prisoners. It literally says to hit them, but not severely. Then this mother looks up from the paper, dead in the eyes of her daughter's husband, and says, "You don't plan on hitting my daughter, do you? Picture this room. The air just left. You can hear the fridge humming. Nobody's touching their food." The daughter's face drops, and she turns to her husband, voice cracking. "You better not hit me." That's real fear. That is not a TikTok performance. That is a daughter sitting in her own mother's house, realizing she might not actually know the terms of the contract she just signed with her whole life. And the husband? Watch his hands. They go up, palms out, waving like a dodgy real estate agent who just got caught burying an asbestos clause on page 47 of a settlement contract. His voice jumps half an octave. No, that's a mistranslated hadith that's taken out of context. It's a secondary text, it's not core doctrine. I've seen this routine. In my years pulling apart investment disclosures and financial fine print, I've watched plenty of slick operators try to reclassify a binding clause as a non-binding appendix. the second a client reads it out loud. That is exactly what this bloke just did. He took a core doctrinal verse, the Quran, the actual signed contract of the faith his wife converted into, and tried to reclassify it as a hadith, a secondary source, a footnote, hoping nobody at the table would know the difference. Mate, I know the difference. I pulled the actual academic audit on this, not from some random blog, from the Brandeis University Feminist Sexual Ethics Project, one of the most respected research institutions in the United States. And here's what their scholars confirm in black and white. Quran, Surah 4, verse 34, explicitly states, and I'm quoting the academic translation, "Men are the protectors and maintainers of women. As to those women on whose part ye fear disloyalty, beat them lightly." That is the Quran, core text, Surah 4, verse 34, confirmed by Brandeis scholars as indisputably canonical. Not a hadith, not a mistranslation, not a footnote you can quietly shred before settlement day. So when that husband sat at his mother-in-law's dinner table and told her that's not what it says, he performed the oldest con in the book, looked a concerned mother dead in the eye and reclassified a binding clause as a clerical error, while his own wife sat there, frightened, in her own mum's kitchen. And I have to ask you something, genuinely, as one grown adult to another. Have you ever sat across from someone and watched them lie straight to their family's face to protect an ideology? Because I've audited corporate frauds with less sophisticated misdirection than what this bloke pulled off between the roast potatoes and the coffee mugs. His mother-in-law had the receipts, printed, highlighted, sourced, and he still tried to wave it away. That is what gaslighting looks like when the lights are still on and mum's still in the room. But here's what keeps gnawing at me. That was the safe version. The well-lit suburban English-speaking dinner table, where mum could Google, where mum could print the evidence, where the daughter could still say, "You better not hit me." And someone was sitting right there to witness it. Now strip all of that away. Take that same woman, that same lie she swallowed, and drop her somewhere where there is no mum at the table, no printout, no Google, no lights on at all. What happens when the gaslighting works? And she ends up on the other side of the world in a place where Surah 434 isn't debated over Sunday roast. It's enforced after dark. The footage is grainy, handheld, shot on a phone by a young Western woman walking alone through a street in Pakistan. It's nighttime, and at first it almost looks normal. Market stalls closing up, a few fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. She's narrating to her followers, probably Instagram, talking about her solo travel adventure. Her voice is light, excited even, but watch the edges of the frame. Count the men. 5 behind her, 3 more crossing from the left. Another cluster forming ahead, pretending to lean against a wall. They're not shopping, they're not passing through. They're positioning. This is what a coordinated pack looks like before it closes in. She doesn't see it yet. She's still filming, still smiling into the lens, still performing for an audience 10,000 kilometers away, who will double tap a heart and scroll on. But every man on that street, he sees her, an uncovered Western woman, alone, after dark, in a place where that combination doesn't mean brave traveler. It means unprotected property, and the perimeter tightens. You can watch the exact moment her voice changes. The narration stops mid-sentence. The camera jerks sideways. She's clocked someone walking too close. Then another. She speeds up. The footsteps behind her speed up too. The murmur of the crowd shifts. It stops being background noise. It becomes coordinated. Low voices, laughter that isn't friendly. The sound of a dozen men who know exactly what they're doing, cutting off her exits, closing the net. The camera battery starts dying. The phone spits out that thin 2-note low battery chime. Absurdly cheerful, like a checkout counter beep in the middle of a nightmare. The image stutters, pixelates. The audio shreds into crackling digital distortion, her voice fragmenting between the collapsing frames. And she knows. You can hear it in her breathing. Rapid, shallow. That specific breathing your body does when it's calculating fight or run and realizing neither option exists. The screen flickers once, goes dark, and what fills that darkness is a sound that will sit in your chest for days. Don't touch me. Hands. Grabbing. Everywhere. Save me! Save me! That's it. That's the audio. A woman's voice ripping apart in the black, screaming for help that isn't coming. In a country where her screams aren't evidence of a crime. They're confirmation she was foolish enough to be there. That's how they operate out here after dark. You just watched it. Actual predators running a coordinated isolation on a single woman. And you know exactly what those intentions were. No police coming, no DV hotline to ring, no magistrate, no restraining order, no Aussie consulate around the corner with a cuppa and a sorry about that. Every single safety net she grew up assuming was just the way the world works, gone, stripped away. Because out here, it never existed. This is Surah 434, with no Western legal system standing between the text and the body. No smiling husband reinterpreting the verse over Sunday dinner. No progressive imam softening the edges for a podcast audience. Just doctrine, physically executed, on a street, in the dark, on a woman who believed the world was as safe as her Instagram feed told her it was. Because I know what your brain is doing right now. It's whispering. That's horrible, yeah. But that's one girl. One bad night, one unlucky trip. That reflex? That's your psychology protecting you. Same reflex that lets you watch a house fire on the 6 o'clock news and go back to your toast. But what you just watched isn't a freak accident. It isn't bad luck. And the actual, verified, United Nations data on what's waiting for women in these places, data no algorithm will ever push to your feed, is about to rip that comfort blanket clean off. In 2013, UN Women ran a national survey across Egypt. The number that came back? 99.3% of Egyptian women reported experiencing sexual harassment. Sit with that for a second. Not 60, not 80, 99.3. Picture a stadium packed with 10,000 women. Statistically, 70 of them walked through their lives untouched. 70. Everyone else? Every trip to the market, every bus ride, every walk to work. A gauntlet. That's what 99.3% actually looks like when it steps off the spreadsheet and onto the street. And before anyone watching this thinks, well, I'm Western, different passport, different rules. The same survey clocked 98% of foreign women in Egypt reporting the exact same experience. Tourists, expats, journalists. Women who flew in with business class confidence and first world assumptions about how public spaces operate. 98% of them found out the hard way those assumptions are worthless. Now, this level of harassment doesn't happen by accident. It has a name. Taharush. Taharush Gamia, collective, organized sexual harassment. Here's how it works. Groups of men, sometimes dozens, sometimes hundreds, form a deliberate circle around a lone woman in a public space. The outer ring blocks escape roots and bystanders' line of sight. The inner ring closes in for groping, stripping, assault. Coordinated, rehearsed, documented by researchers, police forces, and human rights organizations right up to this very damn minute. Think of it as some cultural malfunction. Nah, it's the function, engineered to police and punish women for the crime of being visible. And if you reckon status or profile buys you a pass. Meet Lara Logan, February 2011, Tahrir Square, Cairo. The Arab Spring, the whole world watching. Lara Logan was a senior CBS News correspondent, cameras rolling, press credentials on her chest, broad daylight, international media crawling the square. A mob of over 200 men executed a textbook Taharish attack. They cornered her, stripped her, in her own words, raped with their hands for over 40 minutes before she was dragged to safety. Fame meant nothing. Cameras meant nothing. Daylight meant nothing. 200 men decided she was prey, and that was the end of the conversation. So, while Western girls are putting on hijabs and filming cute conversion content on their iPhones, racking up likes from temperature-controlled bedrooms in Melbourne or Manchester, the societies they romanticize run on these numbers, 99.3%, 98%. Taharish, Lara Logan, no cherry-picking, no anecdotes, cold, peer-reviewed, United Nations verified math. And that math doesn't care about your good intentions or your TikTok following now. Everything I just dropped on you, Egypt, Pakistan, Tahrir Square, feels a long way from your lounge room, yeah? Someone else's nightmare, someone else's country. But this conversation was never really about over there. What you actually need to protect is a lot closer to home. Your daughter's phone, your niece's feed, your co-worker's Instagram explore page. That's where this lives now. The algorithm doesn't need a passport. It doesn't need to cross an ocean. It's already here, curating a pipeline from aesthetic hijab tutorials straight into an ideology that most of these women haven't spent 15 minutes actually reading. And the thing that reeks about all of this? The sheer historical amnesia. Your great-grandmother, or someone like her, chained herself to a railing so you could vote, got force-fed in a prison cell so you could own property in your own name. She was beaten, institutionalized, called hysterical, so that one day her granddaughter could walk into a university, open her own bank account, sign her own lease, choose who she marries, and walk out the door if he raises a fist. Those weren't symbolic wins. They were economic survival rights, fought for over decades, one arrest at a time, one ruined life at a time. And now a 23-year-old in Melbourne watches 45 seconds of soft focus TikTok. Some aestheticized nonsense about modest femininity and spiritual peace. And she's ready to hand it all back, voluntarily, for likes. She hasn't read Surah 434. She doesn't know what Taharish means. She has no clue that 99.3% of women in Egypt report sexual harassment. Not as some glitch in the system, but as a built-in feature of it. She's converting to an ideology she hasn't Googled past the first page of. Let's drop the politics for a second. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care where you sit on the spectrum. This is your family's physical safety conversation. The freedoms protecting your kids right now are not self-sustaining. They require you, today, not tomorrow, to actually get off the fence and defend them. So here's what I'm asking. Quit the performance. The hashtags you haven't researched. The manufactured algorithmic guilt you're letting override every survival instinct your bloodline carried for thousands of years. Knock it off. All of it. So because that's not activism, that's sleepwalking into a cage someone else built. Before you romanticize an ideology for digital clout, read the book, not the curated quotes on a pastel infographic, the actual primary source. Because that 15 minutes of reading might be the difference between your daughter understanding her rights and your daughter signing them away. Protecting secular freedom isn't some culture war talking point. It's the bare minimum you owe every woman who got her teeth knocked out so you could sit here, safe, with choices. And if something in this video made you stop, even for a second, you already know. No fluff, no spin, just the stuff nobody else will say out loud. Hit subscribe. I'll keep bringing it.